Andrew here, and welcome to my PlayStation 2 wall. It goes 7 layers high, so you probably can't even actually see to the top of it on screen right now, but don't worry, I'm not going to be in the frame for too long. At some point, I'm going to take the camera off and actually give you a nice look at exactly what is going on here. But this is the majority of my PlayStation 2 collection. That's right, it's not all of it. There's some things that you won't find here, including box sets, where sometimes PlayStation 2 games would come in bundles with other games in the same series. We'll have a look at those after we look at this wall. Other things you won't see here include like sports games, because again, this isn't my entire collection, and I've used pretty much all the space that I have here. It even goes kind of past what you can see of me at the moment. You know, there's kind of a wall here. This is a really awkward spot. It's kind of a stairwell, and this was never made with the intention of storing PlayStation 2 games, but I repurposed it as such, and I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, so sports games aren't on here, and that's because in a sea of really nice end labels, it looks awkward when you get that kind of M and N section where you get the NBAs, the NHLs, the Maddens, and they're just like a big block of white end labels with black text. Now, if you're in Europe, that's like what all of your end labels look like, and maybe some people like that. It looks very organized, but I've always been a much bigger fan of the more detailed, artful end labels. So as a result, since there wasn't enough room here for all of them anyway, these sports games have been located to a separate section that we will look at again after we've looked at this wall and at some other things as well. Also, when you want to get a game out of here, because I think what's particularly interesting about how I have my PlayStation games stored is that there's not really any kind of shelves. They're literally just like one on top of the other, which is kind of neat. But what you can do is say if there's a game you want, you just kind of push up on the ones above it. You get your finger in here, and you can pull the game out, just like that. So that's kind of how this works. And because it's like all so tightly made, it just sits there like really well, and the spot will still be there for when you want to take, rather put the game back. So it's not like, you know, you don't want to take out too many games at one time. It might all come kind of tumbling down. But personally, I really like the system that I have set up here. It's kind of strange, but it is, you know, just a neat wall overall. There are 822 games in this kind of section right now, and combined with the games we'll see in other sections, as well as the ones that come in bundles and such, my PlayStation 2 collection is around 1,000 games, which when you look at all the PlayStation 1 games ever released, it's like half of North America's library, and if you're going to, you know, Japan, they just have so many PlayStation 2 games there. But of course, I just mainly collect for the North American market. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at here. I'm now going to take the camera off. We're going to go through row by row so you can see just what games I have. And then again, after that, we're going to look at those boxed ones, and then the sports games, as well as my sealed collection, which again I have elsewhere. But I hope you enjoy that, and here we go. Alright, so moving on up to the top row again, out of 7. It's all alphabetical order, just as you can expect from essentially any collection that I have. And I have pretty much all of the essentials that you'd expect. I mean, back there, every console around this generation had a lot of James Bond games. GoldenEye kind of put James Bond games on the map. There was ones before that, but they never really caught people's attention until GoldenEye kind of made everybody love James Bond. And now I don't even think they make video games for like the more modern James Bond movies anymore. Or if they do, then I haven't you know, really kept up with them too much. But PlayStation 2 just had so many fantastic games. It's no wonder that it was so many people's favorite console of the generation. Just so many amazing third-party developers and, you know, amazing first-party games. You had Crash, who also had a lot of like you know, games on other consoles as well, which was really funny. Things like Spyro and Crash, which were Sony exclusive during the PlayStation 1, suddenly ended up on other consoles, and Sega kind of followed that as well. So it was definitely an interesting generation from a Nintendo fan's viewpoint, because just so many things that you didn't expect to see, you know, we're suddenly ending up on. I'll make sure I angle the thing here so that you're not getting too much of a glare. Of course, Final Fantasy, though, was still something you were only going to see on PlayStation, and you will the odd time see things mixed in with the games, like this one right here. Now, trying to get things out with one hand isn't too easily. This right here is actually Final Fantasy 12, a really nice special edition metal cover variant, which is pretty neat. And one other thing I want to look at here is this one. See, can I do this all with one hand? Yes, I can. And very, rarely, but it still happens, is that this is actually just a Final Fantasy XII art book. Like, it comes in like a PS2 size case, but opening this up, and it's actually just like a little book in there instead of the manual. It's a, book which is manual shaped, but has a whole bunch of promotional art in it, which is pretty neat. Yeah, again, PlayStation 2's library, which is so diverse. Again, another thing which defined really the PS2 was the Grand Theft Auto games. It was on Xbox as well, but I think most people back then probably played it on PS2. And man, there were just a lot of Grand Theft Auto games back then. Unlike now when it's like pretty much one per console. There was like 4 Grand Theft Auto games on PS2. Of course, Guitar Hero, a very defining thing of that generation. Everybody was into the music games back in those days. Hitman, another series, Hot Shots Golf, the Jack games, absolutely iconic when it comes to the PlayStation. Of course, the first game is kind of just like a, upgraded Crash Bandicoot in some ways, and then they really went off the rails for the second and third one. And then it has a racing game, just like how with Crash you get Crash 1, 2, 3, and then a racing game. Kingdom Hearts, of course, a very also iconic series, which is stuck with PlayStation. I mean, I guess the spin-off games have ended up on even Nintendo DS and such, but definitely, something that everyone used to talk about, getting a PlayStation to play Kingdom Hearts back in the day. Moving on down here, yeah, I mean, we're not spending too long on all the rows. Hopefully you can see everything. Very strangely, I mean, not so strange, I guess, because the X games had moved to the PlayStation 1, but something I definitely didn't get to play until I got a PS2 was Mega Man X7 and 8. You're up to you if you think I was missing out on a whole lot there. Mega Man X7's not so great. X8's okay. Lots of Naruto games on the PlayStation 2. Who remembers when Naruto was like all the rage? I know I do. There's so many cool games. Of course, the Persona games have been like a PlayStation staple for quite some time now. And let's move back and go down another row. The second last row now, although of course as you move down, because what's happening here is these are like stairs. And this is like the slope of the stairs that are above me, so each row progressively gets longer as it goes down, and they all just fit so perfectly that again, it keeps it all nice and firm, so that when you take a game out, the whole thing doesn't kind of just come crumbling down, and yeah, I just think that's so cool. Let's see, of course, Ratchet and Clank, another absolutely staple series of the PlayStation 2. Rock Band, once again, right up there with Guitar Hero as being all the rage back in those days. Shrek 2, somehow a really, really, really popular game. SingStar again, the music games very popular. The SOCOM games used to be all talked about so much. I don't think that, if the series is still around, I can't say I've heard too much about it lately. You get the Sonic games that were on the PlayStation, like Heroes and Riders. We also saw Shadow the Hedgehog back there a little bit. Strangely, PlayStation never got the Adventure 2 and Adventure 1 ports. Wonder what made them decide if they were going to put something on the PS2 or on the Xbox or on the GameCube. Like, GameCube had Sonic Mega Collection, and then it was the PS2 and Xbox got Mega Collection Plus, which I always thought was kind of weird. Again, something I didn't really get to experience until I eventually got my hands on a PS2. And then coming down here to the bottom row, looks pretty cool. This is kind of interesting. It's so weird that there was 2 different releases of Tetris Worlds. I believe that this was the original one. This is what the first cover variant looks like, and then later cover variants looked like this one. But I believe that they're exactly the same. I don't think anything was changed between them. So again, I guess technically you could say that 821 games because those are both just the same game, but I think that cover variant is different enough that it's worth owning. Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, I love them up to the 4th one. I played Underground, but 4th is always my favorite, and I played a bit of Underground too. But I definitely started to drift away from the series a bit by that point. Another series I guess we didn't really touch too much on was the Sly series. Of course, Sly Cooper, another very iconic series on the PlayStation. Can't have a PlayStation 2 collection without those. And then just moving on. I know I said that, you know, sports games weren't included, but the wrestling games are still in there. And then there you go. So that's just a quick trip through my PlayStation 2 wall. Like, we could be here all day if I commented on like absolutely every single game on there. But hopefully you get the basic understanding of what's going on, and feel free to comment down below on what some of your favorite PlayStation 2 games are, what you think of some of the games that I have here on my wall, and maybe you know, what you think of some of the ones I don't have. And as always, I'll be happy to, you know, have a chat with you down there about that. But we're not done, because now I want to do a quick run over to another section where we're going to look at my PlayStation 2 boxed bundles, and we'll see what I have there. So see you in a second. Alright, so this is going to be a quick look at some of the bigger box PlayStation 2 stuff that I own. Most of these being collections where, you know, it makes sense. The PlayStation 2 had a lot of games. It was around for a long time, so companies would want to bundle various games from the same series together. And then sometimes there's ones like American Idol here where it includes like an accessory, like in this case it's a microphone. Even if you don't care much for American Idol, it's actually a very nice looking box. And you get other cases right here where this is actually a Devil May Cry collection. A lot of series on the PlayStation 2 just very conveniently had like 3 games in them. So for example, if we bring these out here, you'll see that it's Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3, with 2 actually being sealed. And one thing you're going to want to know about these bundles is that if you look on the back, it will actually say in the bottom corner when there's not a glare that this is part of a set. And every single one will say that. So if you're ever looking to buy one of these boxed PS2 bundles and you're like a purist when it comes to collecting, you want to make sure that all of the games in that set have that part of a set symbol down there. Because normally that would be the barcode, but because the barcode's on the box for like all of them, each individual game doesn't have one. So if you plan to do some kind of PS2 collection collecting, just keep that in mind. I mean, most people might not worry too much about that. Maybe you'll find the collection will be missing a game or something like that. You could obviously just put any game you want in there, but that is how it's supposed to look. Of course, Final Fantasy XI was online, so you get kind of a nice set there. Lots of Grand Theft Auto stuff going on. First you had a bundle with 2 Grand Theft Auto games, and you had a bundle with 3 Grand Theft Auto games. You have a special edition of San Andreas, which is pretty neat. You get a Godfather, even though this isn't like a bundle. It is like a special version of the Godfather. Again, trying to do this with one hand isn't so easy, so if you ever found this in the store and you're like, what the heck am I even looking at? I mean, it's obvious it's the Godfather, but that's why, because it actually was like a limited edition which had a paper sleeve over it. Again, moving that off to the side. Again, we got some games here where like these ones come with a microphone, so they have to have this extra massive box. Can't say I know too much about High School Musical. Isn't that guy like an internet meme right now, though? Again, can't say it's a series I know too much about, but wow, this is just like the most mintest, probably like thing in my collection. It's actually really nice. I'm gonna get that graded and it'll be worth $10 billion. And then you get High School Musical 3, and again, just like the Devil May Cry one, you got a Hitman trilogy. No idea what series that is, but once again, it includes a microphone. An actual sealed Naruto set of 3 games. There was much more than just 3 Naruto games on the PS2. But that one has 3 of them. Again, just like The Godfather, it's like a special edition of Need for Speed Most Wanted. And then a Pac-Man trilogy and a Resident Evil Essentials set where you get Resident Evil 4, Code Veronica, and Resident Evil Outbreak. So yeah, the PS2 just had a lot of these kind of really cool bundles, and this isn't even all of them. There's a lot more out there. But yeah, I tend to like trying to pick them up when I can because I think that they're pretty cool. But now we're going to move on to where my sports games are. So I know everyone's been really excited about that, so let's get a move on. Alright, so here we are with some more PS2 stuff. What you're immediately going to notice from this top shelf is that it's a lot of Player's Choice, or rather greatest hits games on the PS2. I've never really had anything against Player's Choice games. I know some people even like collect them, try and get all the different Player's Choice variants. I've never had a problem if I got a game and it was the red label version, I'd always keep it. But in this case, it's probably that, you know, I also have the black label version, which I put on the main wall, and I've just never bothered to either trade or sell any red label variants that I've gotten. But down below that, we get into these sports games that I was talking about, and it's amazing to think just how long the PS2 is relevant. Like, you have Madden 2001, and I think it goes all the way up to like Madden 14 or something on the PS2. So it was active for a very, very long time. But you can also see what I mean about a lot of the sports games, especially since they're all pretty much EA ones, all have that basic just white background with black text label, and they look better over here, kind of separated than, you know, being with the more stylistic labels, I think. But yeah, that's my sports game collection. It could be a lot bigger because, again, there was just so many sports games. I could, you know, improve my Madden collection a little, but I don't usually go too far out of my way to get the sports ones. Just if I see them really cheap, I'll pick them up. And that's what I've managed to amass over the years. We will actually see a couple more as we proceed on. But and before we get to that point, we actually have a little bit of a detour with non-PlayStation related things. This is on top of one of my TVs. You can see me in the background there a little bit, and you know, SpongeBob clock. I found that at Value Village way back when I first started collecting. Not technically game related, but I mean, Battle for Bikini Bottom is an amazing game. Who else was surprised that it actually got an HD remake this year? You get that blue-faced Mega Man, which I remember I thought that maybe the color had peeled off or something, but that's actually how it was supposed to be. And then yeah, just a whole bunch of kind of cool random game related things there, and then continuing on, we get to another shelf with some PS2 stuff here. The top two rows are actually sealed, with the exception of the 3 games on the right, where it kind of starts with All-Stars Baseball. That's where the kind of unsealed ones begin. And otherwise, the top and second rows, those are all sealed games. I have the monopoly on Disney Sing It. I foresee that in the future it's going to be worth mega bucks, so you know, I'm getting my collection ready now. If you want one, I'll sell it to you for $12 million. Just drop your name in the chat and it'll be on the way. And then again, you know, coming down, these are some ones that the wall is full, so starting with the, again, All-Stars Baseball, there just has not been any room to add these games to the wall. And then coming down a little bit more, we get some PlayStation Jam Pack discs, which is like, you know, demo discs and samplers and such. And then some more greatest hits and variants and things there. And then at the bottom, just some PS3 stuff, which is a whole other story. My PlayStation 3 collection is not nearly as big as my PS2 one. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed seeing that PS2 stuff. And then this right here is like a tower of Sega Genesis. And then again, you know, that's another story for another day. And then over here, we get this familiar looking cabinet. But going up these stairs, there is the PS2 collection once again. We might as well have a quick little look around this room, which I think people have, again, if you watched my room tour, you might have seen this, but we got a couple of my video game standees. This new Super Mario Brothers one is definitely like the most beautiful. This has like a 3D effect going on there. It's really nice. And then just some posters and some odds and ends. And this is literally just like from a McDonald's. When you're trying to get all of the Mario toys from McDonald's, but they literally just give you the thing that goes in their cabinet to display the toys, that's what's going on there. That's pretty funny. But with that, that's my PS2 collection. Hope you enjoyed that. I know it was kind of a weird, convoluted tour, but despite all that, hopefully, you know, you had some fun. I think it's so cool just kind of looking at all the different games and things. The PlayStation 2 collection, when you stand back and look at it, it's really neat. And again, I'm so sorry for those of you in Europe who just have the white background with black text labels, because I think that the kind of, you know, variants and styles that you get looks really, really nice. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you next time for something different. So thanks and see you later. Thank you so much once again for checking out my videos. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it really helps my channel out. With that said, hope to see you next time.